Welcome back to Playground Chronicles, the show where nostalgia is king and toys are our time machines. I am your host, and today we're diving into an elite class of vintage collectibles, the toys that have turned from plastic playthings into high-priced treasures. We're talking about Scratch the cat from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the jaw-dropping United States flag from the G.I. Joe toy line, the mighty Overlord from the Transformers G1 toy line, the glowing ghoul Scareglow from Masters of the Universe, and the dino-sized powerhouse, the Dino Riders T-Rex. Let's break it down. What makes them rare, why collectors drool over them, and just how many of these were actually made. First thing is first, as we look at some of the vintage commercials and other items for these characters, not all of these made it into an actual toy line cartoon variant, but all of them were a toy. And for me, I have owned these all at a certain time in my life. I may not have them today, but I did own them at some point. Not when I was a kid, I owned them as an adult collector. So I do have a little bit of knowledge of what they are. We're gonna look at some prices from what they're selling for today and if they are worth that. Let's start off with Scratch, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure from 1993. The feline felon from the late-run Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle storyline, the toy released in 93, Scratch is an infamous for being one of the rarest and most valuable Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures ever made. One may ask why you think that is. Well, he's part of the final wave of the figures before the original line ended. That means fewer were made and even fewer were actually bought and kept in good shape. Estimates suggest less than 10,000 of these Scratch figures were made and put onto store shelves. Combine low production numbers with the fact that many ended up broken or buried in a backyard battle, and you've got a holy grail. Men on card, that'll cost you about $3,000 to $5,000. We'll look at prices here soon. For me as a kid, I never remembered Scratch being in the cartoon, and in the very little detailed looks I bent back and looked, I couldn't find him in the cartoon. I knew him from the comics. That's really how I know him more than anything, is that look right there. But this is the cartoon look that we got from him. In owning this figure, I got him before the toy craze and only paid about $300 for him and sold him later. With these prices now in the thousands, it's astronomical. Do I think it's worth it? It's worth it to somebody. For any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure, for me, it's absolutely not worth that price point unless you're a completist that needs this grail in your collection. Buckle up because this one's big, literally. The USS Flag, released in 1985, was a 7-foot long aircraft carrier based for the 3 3/4 G.I. Joe action figures. Crown jewel of any toy line ever produced. The problem? Back then it cost around $110, which is likely $300 plus in today's money. The price tag meant it was a rare birthday gift and practically unheard of under the Christmas tree. Fewer families could afford it, and assembling or storing it was another monster. Complete sets today, an easy $2,000 to $4,000. Mint in a box, sky's the limit. The problem with owning a G.I. Joe flag is piecing it together. If you can't afford the high dollar complete one, you almost pay more in piecing one together. Next biggest one is owning it. It is the greatest play set of all time, in my opinion, and it's amazing. The play factor, even as an adult, to show your stuff is fantastic. However, it takes up 7 foot of your space, which not a lot of people have. Next up is Overlord, but unless you were in Europe or Japan, you probably never saw this Decepticon behemoth on shelves. Released in 1988 in Japan and 1991 in Europe, Overlord never got a U.S. release, which is one of the reasons why for here in the States, it cost a lot of money. This makes it extremely rare among us Americans. He has a double Power Master, 2 engines, multiple transformations, and a presence that screamed villainry. Only a limited number were produced, and because it was a regional exclusive, even loose ones go for over $500. Boxed, $1,500 or more, as we're going to see on the eBay. I did purchase this. I got it from an overseas seller when I was collecting pretty heavily. It's an amazing toy. It's one of the greatest Transformers I've ever owned. It stands up with the G1s that were released here in America. Is it worth the price? I think it is 100%. One of the best toys. Glowing in from the shadows, it's Scareglow, the evil ghost of Skeletor. Released in 1987 during the final stretch of the original Masters of the Universe line, Scareglow didn't get wide distribution and many weren't made. He glows in the dark, carries a glow-in-the-dark sickle or a staff. I didn't ever knew they had a green one, and only had one production run. He's been effectively dubbed the Glow Ghost by collectors, and complete versions now go for $800 to $2,500 dependent on availability. Owning him as a child was great because I never had to pay the scalpy prices for him. One of the things that you need to worry about today's market are reproductions, capes, and everything else. Last but not least, the Dino Riders. And we're not talking about the little ones. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was the most massive and majestic dino in the whole line, with motorized walking action, armor, cannons, and evil Rulons ready to battle. It was like Jurassic Park before Jurassic Park. But like the flag, it was pricey, $50 in 1988, so not every kid could have one. They were also fragile between the movie parts, the batteries, and everything else. A complete working one goes for around $1,500 or more, but you can piece them out for cheaper, unlike the flag. This one, the parts seem to be relatively more cheap compared to other stuff. So what this has taught us is the magic formula for a valuable toy. Low production numbers, short distribution window, unique fixtures, nostalgia condition, and the missing accessories. And honestly, for these big Grails, the accessories are almost as expensive as the main toy itself. There you have it. 5 vintage toys that rule the collector world today. Whether you're digging through your childhood closet or browsing eBay, these are the legends to look for. Got your own rare toys? Share them. Leave me a comment, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you like this kind of thing. Hope to hear from you soon. Until next time, peace out.